Hey brothers and sisters, I pray you guys are all doing well. I want to talk to you guys today about spiritual blindness. I want to do two videos. The next one that I do, I want to talk about the evil eye, and the Bible makes reference to this many times, and I just want to talk about exactly what he is speaking about when he is talking about the evil eye. So today I'm going to discuss spiritual blindness and what exactly that means. It is a part of our Father's perfect judgment and justice to make people spiritually blind, to harden their hearts against the Lord. And how we see in everything, you guys, scriptural references everywhere in pop culture. And, you know, whether it's movies, music, movie titles, I mean, and it seems like it's happening more and more at a faster pace now. So I want to talk today about what exactly that means, what it means to be spiritually blind. Isaiah is a perfect book that talks about spiritual blindness and makes reference to it. So I'll read you guys a couple verses from there, and we will just jump into it and go from there. So in Isaiah 44:18, it says, "They have not known nor understood, for he hath shut their eyes that they cannot see, and their hearts that they cannot understand." Isaiah 6:10 says, "Make the heart of this people fat, and make their eyes heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and convert and be healed." Spiritual blindness is having all of the information there right in front of you and not believing, not being able to believe. It is rejection of Jesus Christ. That is ultimately what it is. You will see in many of these things, you know, not just the one eye being covered. We'll go into that with the evil eye in the next video, but you will also see many celebrities and you know, these satanic people that will cover both of their eyes. They'll cover both of their eyes, and what they are saying is, "I am spiritually blind." They love it too. They love that they are spiritually blind. They love their sin and the lust of the flesh so much that they boast about it. They will brag about rejecting Jesus Christ. So you guys remember last year when Katy Perry came out with this whole Witness album, right? She did the whole thing on YouTube and everybody was talking about it. And a lot of people were like, what does her album mean? Like, what is this? You know, she's got both of her eyes covered, and she has an eyeball in her mouth. And I instantly thought, when I first saw it, oh, okay, well that's easy to see. You know, I mean, it's the eye of Lucifer is speaking through her voice, through her songs. She is leading people astray. She is leading souls to hell. And so I knew what that meant, and I knew, you know, obviously she's covering her eyes because of spiritual blindness and rejecting Jesus Christ. When I read this verse in Isaiah, it gave me chills because I instantly thought, of this album cover that she had. And I thought, they are playing off of this verse. That is exactly why she did this cover, or her handlers chose, you know what I mean? Like, we know everything, they're puppets, and they're just, you know, they're just being pulled at their strings to do the will of Satan. And so this verse I'll read to you guys is really interesting. It says, "Fear ye not." This is Isaiah 44, verse 8 through 9. "Fear ye not, neither be afraid. Have not I told thee from that time, and have declared it? Ye are even my witnesses. Is there a God beside me? Yea, there is no God. I know not any. They that make a graven image are all of them vanity, and their delectable things shall not profit. And they are their own witnesses. They see not nor know, that they may be ashamed." That is her cover. That is called, that album, that is called Witness. She is proclaiming to the world that she is her own witness. The delectable things that she loves, that she gets, all the money, all the fame, all, you know, all of that stuff that she covets after, that then, you know, it's the blind leading the blind. So then everybody else, you know, also covets those things that she has, and she is proclaiming that I see not, I don't see the gospel of Jesus Christ. I have rejected Jesus Christ, and I am my own witness. I am not a witness for Christ. So that's what her album cover says. I thought that was just really, really interesting to have that, to read that and be like, whoa, you know, wait a minute, that's exactly what that's why she did that. You know, it is a part of God's perfect judgment. Jesus said in John 9:39, "For judgment I am come into this world, that they which see not might see, and they that which see might be made blind." So, you know, he did come, you know, to bring peace to his children, but he came for judgment. He came for judgment. He spoke in parables. You know, so those whose hearts have been shut, those whose understanding and their ability to receive Christ would be closed shut. They would not understand what Jesus said. But those who understood the parables, whom our Father has warmed their hearts to him, that they should see him, they would receive those parables. You know, he explained to his disciples why he spoke in parables, and that's exactly why he did that. So yeah, you see that. Also, I want to give an example too, because we know that the Pharisees, they were spiritually blind, right? We know that the Jews today, they are spiritually blind. I'll give you guys an example of this. During Easter, Passover, I was watching some videos about Passover, and just, you know, seeing how people celebrate it. And one of the videos that came up on my suggestion list on YouTube was a video from Mayim Bialik. She is a Jewish actress. They're all Jewish, but she is openly Jewish, okay? And she does vlogs and videos about the Jewish customs and holidays and stuff like that. So she did a video about Passover, and why the Jews celebrate Passover. And I thought this was really interesting because her reasoning for celebrating Passover was they were celebrating the Jews' exodus out of Egypt. And she mentions that multiple times throughout this video, you know, that it's a celebration of God, you know, delivering the Israelites out of captivity from Egypt. There is absolutely no mention of how that pertains to Jesus Christ and how that points to that, you know, how you will see the symbology of the deliverance of the Israelites with Jesus Christ and him delivering his children and the cross. You will not, she did not mention in any point of the video about, she mentions how they don't eat leaven in the bread. She does not talk about how the leaven represents sin, how the puffing up is a representation of leaven being sin. So in no point does she mention that. She does not mention, she mentions, you know, like I said, the Exodus out of Egypt. She does not mention the Passover lamb, the blood that was put over these people, the Israelites' homes from the sacrificed lamb, and the angel of death coming through and going over those people's homes. They were protected and sealed by the blood of that sacrificed lamb. She does not mention anything about that. Okay, then that was in the book of Exodus. Why is there not any mention of that? That is exactly what Passover is, you know, and obviously she didn't mention that because that sacrificial lamb is Jesus Christ. So that would be a perfect example, you guys, of someone who is spiritually blind. They have all the head knowledge, you know, they know all of the teachings of Moses and the prophets, but their heart has been waxed gross and they cannot understand the gospel of Christ. And it's so sad. It is so sad, but there is justice in it. There is justice in it. And it is all a part of God's perfect, perfect will when Judgment Day comes. So anyway, yeah, I just thought that that was really interesting. 2 Corinthians talks about how these Pharisees, they were able to read the law of Moses, and they knew, and they were, you know, but in reading Moses, the veil was still on their hearts. So to have that spiritual blindness is also to have it's the same thing as having that veil on your heart and not being able to accept Jesus. 2 Corinthians 4:3-4 says, "But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, in whom the God of this world, Satan, hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine unto them." So they are still walking around living in darkness. Everybody who has not accepted Jesus Christ as the only truth there is walking around deaf, dumb, and blind. And it doesn't matter, you guys, what proof you put in front of them. It doesn't matter how long you debate with them. If our Father has not drawn them to Jesus Christ, that is the only way their hearts are going to have those eyes to see him. And if he hasn't done it, it's not his will. So you can give them all the proof you want. They will not accept his son. A perfect example of this too is in the book of Luke, with when Jesus is telling them the story about Lazarus and the rich man. So, you know, Lazarus, he was poor. He was a beggar. He would sit outside of this rich man's gate with swords that his dog would lick, and he didn't have anything. And this rich man had it all. So they both die, okay? And you've got the rich man in hell, and then you've got Lazarus in Abraham's bosom with Abraham. And there is this huge crevice and gap in between them, but they're able to see one another. This is just so crazy to even envision this in your head, you guys. Hell and Abraham's bosom. And we know now when we die, we don't go to Abraham's bosom, because Christ is now sitting at the right hand of God, and we are with Christ when we die. But this rich man, he is in such misery, he is in such torment and agony, that he sees Lazarus. He knows who Lazarus is. He saw him begging at his steps, at his gate. And he says, "Father Abraham, please, would you allow Lazarus to dip his finger?" This guy was he was in so much agony that he just wanted Lazarus to just dip his finger in cold water and come and bring it over and just dab my tongue once. He was in such torment. And Abraham says, "I'm sorry, but that's not going to happen." First of all, he couldn't even get over to you if he wanted to, because of this huge divide between hell and paradise. That's not going to happen. And so the rich man then says, "Okay, well then could you please send Lazarus to tell my brothers about this place, about hell, so they will not fall into the same sin as I did and end up here. Please go tell them." And Abraham says, "Okay, well, they've got the prophets and they've got Moses. Have them, you know, they've got the teachings of them. Have them learn that." And he says, no, please, will you just send Lazarus to tell them? And Abraham says to the rich man, "No, if they won't accept the teachings of Moses and the prophets, then Lazarus coming back from the dead is not going to make them believe either." So that is how powerful our Father is that he is able to pull the reins of people's hearts. So if they don't believe in Jesus Christ, there is nothing that can be done. No kind of proof that will be sufficient enough to make them believe, unless the Father draws them to his Son. That's the only way to be cured of that spiritual blindness. So I just wanted to talk to you guys about that today. It's really interesting just to see scriptural references in everything. And when your eyes are open to that understanding and you see it, it's just like, wow. You know, but when that judgment day comes, it's just that perfect justice, especially for these people, you guys, who openly boast and brag about being spiritually blind. They're not going to be boasting on that day. They're not going to be bragging. The fear, I cannot even imagine. I cannot even imagine the fear that they are going to have when they stand before Jesus Christ and his angels. So, I love you all, and I will talk to you very soon. The next video I'll do is about the evil eye and what exactly that means. So, I love you, and I pray you guys are all being blessed today in Jesus' name. Take care. Bye.